Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. My guest today, very special guest, goes by the name of Madeira, and he is the founder of Matr1x. That's Matr1x, not to be confused with the movie Trilogy. Welcome to the pod, sir.
Hey, thank you. So this is Madeira speaking. I'm really happy to get invited to this podcast to present a little bit about Matr1x.
First of all, I want to talk a bit about your history. You said you grew up in China and then spent a lot of time in France and then in West Africa. Now back in Singapore. My question basically is, how important is doxxing for you in this crypto space? Because you're one of the first guests that I have on. I actually am the second guest that goes by a nickname or pseudonym and has an avatar and profile picture sort of representing himself. And look, from my point is I'm totally fine with it because I respect everyone's privacy. I've got a family, but I want to know, like, you being so well-traveled, what is your sort of opinion on it?
Well, I think this is a kind of a ways to protect ourselves
Okay.
from all kinds of government bans or kinds of the other kind of punishments whatsoever. Because the Web3 revolution has still a long way to go. That is to say, a lot of the sovereign states and governments are trying every effort to really put us down to the road and to also to exile us. So anyway, I mean, I see if Donald Trump got elected into the future U.S. president, that will be a big victory for the whole Web3 industry. But still, before the majority of the sovereign states recognize the importance and recognize the legitimacy of the whole industry, we still have to be really prudent and careful about ourselves, about our identity. So I think doxing is still very important, but one necessary, you have to discuss your identity to your business partner, to those exchanges, to those important stakeholders anyway. But
Yes.
but still, I mean, if you are in our industry, you are no longer doxed because you have to liaise with those business partners, right? So you have to liaise with the different kinds of stakeholders. But anyway, for the dox is only a way of prudence to protect us from those people outside of our industry. And also, we have to be extremely careful in that most of the sovereign governments, they are running into deficits in terms of their public finance. So the majority of those governments, they really would like to seize your assets or whatever you are. So the crypto assets are essentially the targets of those kind of seizures of this kind of governmental operations. So you have to be very careful about that.
Very, very interesting. Let's talk about some of those assets. I said this week people are sleeping on Web3 gaming. It's not as hot as it could be right now, but I don't think it's right now. I think it's the future. I read value currently at something like 2.3, 2.4 billion, and it's going to be in like 53 billion US in the year 2027. So it's a space that is projected with hyper growth, something like 50% compounded. I mean, that's a really an exciting space to be in.
Yeah, definitely. And according to those numbers provided by Coinbase, they essentially are saying that there are 53 million American citizens who are currently holding cryptos. But Federal Reserve, in fact, they are also conducting a survey last year. I think it's last October. Federal Reserve essentially said that the numbers provided by Coinbase is not exact, but they still admitted that there should be at least 18 million US citizens who are holding cryptos. So anyway, it's about 20 million votes, right? So why does such a hostile government of the current democratic government in the United States, why such a hostile SEC chairman, Gensler, he is still voting for the Bitcoin ETF and even Ethereum ETF? Because currently, at least the pro-crypto holders, that they are holding 20 million votes, which is extremely important in deciding, in voting for the future US president. So, I mean, this is a very huge power. So you can see the penetration. So I think 4 years ago, no any presidential candidate would ever talk about crypto. But nowadays, they are publicly advocating for cryptos. And Donald Trump has even saying that he is receiving all kinds of donations in terms of crypto. So crypto industry is currently already donating, I think there's very close to 100 million US dollars already to Donald Trump. So even democratic government, they have to admit that really crypto is gaining influence. So they have to yield for the crypto industry. They have to admit for the success of the ETFs. So, I mean, this is the power of the whole Web3 industry. This is going to be a huge revolution. So the whole society across the world going to be restructured into a decentralized way other than centralized way. So this is going to be a revolution over years, over the next 10 to 20 years, which could be huge.
It kind of shows you how important people and gamers value owning their assets in a game, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that what is the biggest pity is in that even though those gamers, that users, they cherish a lot, they love a lot of some certain games, but they cannot decide, they cannot participate in the governance of a certain game episode. For example, like a World of Warcraft. So many people all over the world love this game, but they cannot decide which heroes is going to survive, which heroes is going to be a villain in the future, right? So it's only Blizzard who decide who is going to be a future hero, who is going to be turned into a villain. And sometimes it's totally out of logic, but that really happens. So that really drives the anger out of the people. But how could you dare to such things that is turn my heroes into villains? But it's the gaming developer, they say, okay, I just did that. So how what can you do? So this is the kind of Web2 things that you just say, okay, the games, normally you have so many stakeholders, you have so many huge community, so many gamers, however, they cannot say anything about the gaming development going forward into the future. So, I mean, why not say, okay, all of the things have to be restructured into a decentralized way, driven by the community, driven by the creator economy, that you say, not only those asset ownership that would belong to those gamers other than just decided solely by the developer themselves, but also the content creation, not only the new map, new dungeons, new gameplay, but also the new characters, the new world view stories had to be decided by all of the community rather than just the developer themselves. Just imagine why Vitalik Buterin just contributed, just delved into the Web3 industry, right? He's unsatisfied. Rumors said that because he's unsatisfied with the data setting of certain heroes in the world of Warcraft, right? So that's why he said, okay, we should make a world computer, but in a decentralized manner, right? So that's why he founded Ethereum years ago. So it's also because of gaming.
It's crazy. You guys got the #1 gaming app on Polygon. Is that still the case?
Yeah, still the case.
How do you? Well, congratulations, huh? And I think #2 across all the other chains. How did you manage that?
Well, I think this is simple because from the very beginning, from 3 years ago, when our strategic investor, Hana Financial Group, which is one of the largest financial conglomerates, financial groups in Korea.
Yeah.
One, they wanted to incubate us, and we said, okay, so we're not gonna to say, okay, absolutely Web3 gaming is the only way to bring mass adoption to the Web3 industry. But how could you achieve a very successful Web3 gaming? So we said 3 years ago that the successful Web3 games should be also a successful game in the Web2 world. So Web3 blockchain technology is kind of an accelerator, so or multiplicator. So this one could really multiply your initial outcomes. But if your initial outcome is just a zero in the Web2 world, your final outcome would also be zero. So that is to say, you do have to abide by certain business logics, rationals, in order to be a successful, even in the Web3 industry. The Web3 industry is not just about token sales. It's not just about pump and down. It's more about business rationale. So currently, you are going to see that so many projects they are pumping and dumping their tokens. So their only business model is just about to sell their tokens, right? So other than token sales, they don't have any business model. They don't have any cash flow.
There's
so
nothing else.
This is
yes, exactly. There's nothing else.
This is a very serious issue. So I mean, for gaming, so we set it ourselves 3 years ago in saying that, okay, so many people, what is the closest games? What is the most popular games, but closest to the Web3 industry ecosystem in the Web2 world? So we bet it is CSGO, CS2. Why is that? Because it has a very large market with very huge transaction volumes, or $40 billion US per year, for all kinds of skin trading. So which is very much similar to that of NFT trading, right? So if you just change all of those items, all of the skin trading into NFT trading, that is essentially already a Web3 games. So we're saying, okay, if we could replicate the business model of CSGO, CS2, it's very easy to convince those people in the CSGO system, ecosystem, to migrate to the Matrix ecosystem. So no need for us. We don't really have to allocate people. We don't have to allocate the market, because the CSGO business model is already there. So everyone could understand extremely easily the Matrix ecosystem and Matrix business model. So this is the first one. And the second one lies in that so many people love CSGO and CS2 are all over the world, but there's simply no mobile version of CSGO. And Valorant, Riot also said that they are going to launch a mobile version of Valorant, but it would take years. So maybe during the second half of this year, or at the debut of the next year. Anyway, so that's why we are saying, okay, 3 years ago, we are saying that if we could launch a mobile version of a CSGO, and with art style very similar to that of a Valorant, that is to say, we are addressing our markets where there are no competitors, right? So people are saying that, okay, especially those people in those developing countries and geographies in Asia, in Latin America, in Africa, in CIS region, in MENA region, they love playing those mobile games, because people don't really can't afford a PC or desktop. So I used to say in Africa too. So I know that people don't really cannot really afford a landline in Africa, but they could afford a smartphone now, especially those low-end Android phones. So people can't afford a PC desktop, but they could just play those mobile games, right?
No,
so
because now with because with the Xiaomi and Oppo and all these Chinese brands in Africa, basically providing a flagship level phone. I've got a Note 12. Xiaomi Note 12. It's a flagship phone, newest chipset, RAM, everything. It's like equivalent. It's like equivalent for Samsung. So if you got that, then you've got a PC, you've got a laptop. So what people didn't realize that you realize is basically these guys already have computers, and using mobiles makes them gamers. You don't need a console or a desktop to be a gamer.
So exactly. So we're essentially saying that the low-end Android phones, cheap Android phones, as well as mobile games, they are essentially democratizing the entertainment access to all of the people, especially living in the low-income countries and the geographies. So
Yes.
we're saying, okay, so this way would finally works out. So this way works. So that is why investors today are willing to invest in us, because they are essentially, they think that even though even without those features of Web3, even without the acceleration of blockchain technology, but still our way of conducting business could still survive in the Web2 world, because there are no competitors, right? So we are saying, okay, so let us just start from a mobile version of a CSGO. And it is essentially how Steam start their business too. Steam does not start from a game store, but they start from 2 in-house built games like CSGO and Dota 2. So an FPS game plus a mobile game. So currently we're essentially saying that, okay, we're going to be a Web3 Steam, a Web3 Tencent too. So we're going to develop the in-house games and also distribute the third-party games for partners too. We are going to distribute a lot of games, but we start from CSGO like game. We start from Matr1x Fire, the mobile FPS game, and then we will have a battle royale game, Matrix Battle, and also we are going to distribute for our third-party partners a card game called Castile, and also a mobile game called Evermoon. So essentially, we're going to launch 4 games in our pipeline until the end of this year. And going forward into next year, every year we're committed to delivering at least two games, not only from in-house but also from third-party partners.
Wow. Did you have any challenges migrating games like CSGO to a mobile platform, like within the Web3 ecospace?
Well, most of our seed investors, seed users are from the Steppen community, and they are in the meantime also CSGO players, and they got to understand very deeply, very well those CSGO business model. Like just 3 weeks ago, one of the most legendary weapon skins called the Thunder Judgment was just sold around $120,000.
Yes,
so one day before the legendary skin sold in the CS2 for $1 million. So our highest, most expensive skin is already traded at around $120,000. So it's very much similar to that of a CSGO. And a lot of players, a lot of streamers in esports clubs are currently professional players are currently coming to us because they know that they essentially have no hope in continuing to play CSGO, because if you are ranking like a number 5, number 6 in the worldwide, normally essentially you are running no hope, because those sponsors, big sponsors, only sponsor those people who could really get into at least the semifinals of a world tournament. So if you cannot get into the semifinals, you stand no hope of attracting any big sponsors. So the only solution is really to welcome, to embrace a new ecosystem. So which is a Matrix.
Tell me, are you hello?
Yeah.
I thought I lost you. Wow. I wanted to ask you about, you talking about sponsorships and the stuff. I mean, esports is getting huge. There's events in Hong Kong and Dubai. Do you see something similar happening for the Web3 gaming space?
Yeah, definitely. Because esport tournaments is also very difficult to achieve, because you are not necessarily sustainable to host these kind of esport tournaments. And some of our competitors are arguing that our tournaments cannot be sustainable because we have to spend our own money in supporting these kind of tournaments. But I have to tell you that as we are the first player in the Web3 industry to start this kind of a series of esport tournaments, and we got very solid data in that. Several months ago, during the Hong Kong Web3 Festival, the grand final of our Matr1x Fire Asian Masters was hosted in an open stage of that Web3 festival. Just the venue very close to where Vitalik Buterin delivered his speech, we successfully attracted up to 1.6 million live viewers. 1.6 million live viewers.
Live.
Plus, record-breaking number since ever Twitter launched its live streaming services. Plus 280,000 replay viewers. So that is for the grand final. But for the qualifiers, we have some other like 300,000 live viewers. So essentially, from qualifiers to the final, we got accumulatively more than 2 million viewers. Most of them are live viewers. So for these kind of figure, these kind of number are extremely solid. So that is to say, our sponsors, most of them are from Web3 industry. However, some of them are from the Web2 industry. Some of them are the traditional brands like Transsion. I bet you have to know that brand because it's a Chinese mobile phone producer with a market share like 9% all of the world. It's number 4 phone producer all of the world, Transsion. And it is just a little bit smaller than Xiaomi, in fact. Okay. And their high-end esports phone called Infinix is also sponsoring our event in Dubai and in Bangkok. Yeah. So that is to say, with all of those sponsorship from both Web3 and the Web2 industry, we are able to cover not only the operating expenses of our tournament, but also the prize pools. That is to say, all of the expenses, including those prize pools of our each area of our tournament has already been covered by all of this sponsorship. So that's why I say, okay, so Matr1x tournament is sustainable, but I'm not sure about the other tournaments, if any other competitors want to replicate our model or not, because this is this is not really necessary for other players in our industry to be able to run a sustainable tournaments, because this is not easy. But we have already established the Matr1x brand as a new esports brand name to be recognized by both Web3 and the Web2 players.
So you have first mover advantage as well.
First mover advantage, extremely important. So I always said that, okay, if you want me to replicate the past success of Matr1x now, I think it's almost impossible, because we are incubating our project at the right timing, at the bear market. We attracted those investors, and we are building our project since the bear market. And now when we move into the bull market, we could get a tremendous attraction from both Web2 and the Web3 industry, right? And also our gameplay is already delivered. So I can say that, okay, so we're going to officially launch our game, and we are testing our game for 4 rounds, and we got so many figures, so many live viewers for our tournaments. So it's only in this case, those kind of people, those kind of markets will continue to support you with very good valuation. Otherwise, you can't be so successful. So it's almost impossible to replicate our own business model.
Which is a very, very good reminder for people to build in a bear market so that you can thrive in a bull market. Madeira, thank you so much for joining me today. It was absolutely fascinating. If the listeners want to catch up with you and find out more about Matr1x, where can they do that?
Sure. So happy to meet you, and I hope next time we could just have a longer conversation next time.
100%. We'll put all your links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me, and to our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.
So we'll never been named on Android and iOS, the battle song. Million lords strong, but the name's spawn. Play to earn, feel the burn. In the Matr1x, it's your turn. Firing your hand, make you stand. Crypto game. more than a game we play. It's the future of crypto.